Hi everyone, thanks everyone for joining. We'll just give it a minute for some others to join. Yeah, we'll just give it a minute or two, but thanks everyone for joining. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. This is Mo with you today. If we haven't met, I'm one of the co-founders of the company. I'm accepting people, and I'll just be accepting people in the background. Today, so last month we had our first community session, and the goal of these community sessions is really to give you an update on what's happening and what updates we're doing in the product. But then the second big aspect in all of this is starting to get your feedback on a lot of what we're doing and like having in many ways collective discussions about those. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'll be giving you an update on some of the things we've been working on in the product. Then I'll give you a bit of a demo in relation to that. And I think both of those will take around 15 minutes. Really, the bit that I'm most interested in today is getting your feedback on the AI and whether you've tried it out and if you have any feedback in that regard. So especially if you found interesting use cases or applications that you thought were helpful. And we'll give you some observations we've had on where people have been finding it most helpful, but would love to get your input effectively and have a bit of a discussion around that. So in terms of the Morta AI itself, a lot of the work we've been doing is just fundamentally making it better. There's actually a mechanism within the AI itself that self-improves off the back of like questions and what people are doing with it, that then allows it to improve. And in many ways, we've been using that to continuously make it better. But some of the key changes that we've made or have happened. First, we've now introduced it for everyone from a support perspective. So regardless of someone, like what type of user someone is or where they are, they can now use it for support purposes. So that's if they're asking questions on how something should happen, either getting product tours or getting explanations effectively when that happens. One of the clear applications that everyone has really been liking is formulas, and I'm using it in relation to creation formulas. We've had several of you actually, several people from the community message in regards to the fact that it's helped in formulas, but it's actually also clear from like the usage patterns of it. But then there are, off the back of like certain errors that happen, there have been detailed fixes that have come in place as a result. Then when it comes to just diagnosing why there is a specific issue that's happening in the platform, there have been improvements that have come in that regard. And where there is no product tour currently, there have been improvements on the like description of what has happened or what you could do in terms of support related guidance. Now, the second, like I would say, key aspect is the platform, generally speaking, and some of the improvements we've made in the platform more broadly. So we've added in new integrations, Dalux, Asta Power Projects, and SharePoint. We've made some improvements in charts and views, and I'll show you examples of that in a second. We've added more data, more formulas effectively that you could use, and there's been some more work on performance and reliability. So we're doing more and more work on being able to handle larger tables, because we've started seeing that that's happening. So we've been introducing optimizations in that regard. In terms of what does this look like, I think just one thing I wanted to highlight. Generally speaking, the product updates, we're going to first, you can generally speaking find them in the community hub. So there's a table that has a list of the updates, and then the emails that we'll be sending you will be built off that and redirect you back to this link as well. And the idea is this will eventually link directly to any like relevant documentation, if there is over time. So it becomes the main way with which we communicate like updates to you. What does this like? What do we have? So first, in terms of the integrations, the first integration I wanted to highlight is Asta. So in relation to information delivery planning, many of you want to relate it back to the project schedule. And one of the key systems that's used for planning, especially here in the UK, is Asta Power Projects. And they've recently released their API. So we've been testing that, and we've built an integration off the back of that. So I can pick a project, I can pick a program, and then I can import data from that. So now I've imported my schedule. You can see I have like my task names here. I have my start dates, my end dates, my percentage complete as it is in Asta. I then have all of the other data that's associated with that specific task. So I could then link that into my information delivery plan and know from that what the start date and the end date of deliverables should be. So that's one of the integrations we've like historically in the past, we had heard several of you ask about planning related data, and we know some were already importing these from Excel, like via Excel into Morta. Now we have the native integration with Asta, and while obviously it's clearly beneficial for information delivery planning, it's generally beneficial for a lot of the planning related use cases that we've seen the platform is being used for. So things like procurement plans and trackers, inspection plans and trackers, or commissioning plans and trackers. And Asta is like the Asta integration should be beneficial for all of those. Now, the second key one is SharePoint. So we can now import data. We've had many of you import data from SharePoint in the past. Many of you have done it via Power Automate. We now have a native integration with SharePoint, so I can pick my site, I can pick the document library as it's called, and then I can I can get the metadata that I have in relation to the file with the link back to the file in the same way that I could all of the other CDEs. I can also do the same thing for Dalux. So we've added that in as well. So now we can pull data from Dalux. We have documents, forms, and tasks from Dalux that can be pulled in. One of the other like simple, I would say, improvements we've made, but again, many of you have been asking for. So let's say you're syncing the resources or the hubs. So especially for people who are managing a number of projects on the platform, many of you are using the sync hubs and sync resources. But one of the challenges you've had is you need to always go back and sync the additional new hubs that you have. We've now introduced an option where you can sync all hubs, and that applies for any of the things you would sync from Morta itself. So the hubs, like the columns, comments, hubs, resources, and users. And I think those are the last one that I wanted to highlight for the time being is an addition we've made off the back of, I think it was feedback that we got from Megan. So let's say we have an activity, the actual date is later than the deadline. That then highlights in red, and I can see the delay effectively on my Gantt chart. And I can do that now because we've introduced this concept of like the actual end date could be the end date column, and then there's a deadline column, which is where the red effectively starts. So you can see these like specific improvements that are also happening in chart views off the back of feedback that we're getting from you. I think the last one actually that is worth highlighting is from a data entry perspective, we've had many of you go, for example, I have 1 and 2, and then I want to auto a number like I would in Excel. So now I can do that type of thing where I can drag, and then off the back of the dragging, a lot of the numbers get filled out. And then equally the same thing applies from a planning perspective. So I can do this as well, and it follows exactly the type of thing that you would have had in Excel. And I know many have been asking for like this ability to drag and for it to autofill effectively for a while. So that's come in. And I think that's mainly it in terms of key updates. So now really what I wanted to do today is just have a bit of a discussion on whether you've tried to use, first, any thoughts on any of the things that I shared, but then second, specifically if you've tried the AI, what you've thought about it, what you've used it for, and just feedback on it really. James?
Yeah, hi. James Bishop from SES. I wanted to build a kind of complex formula where we're validating our hub naming convention against our hub site allocation. So we have a select list of sites when you create a hub using a form, but you could name it differently at the minute. And we wanted to validate that, well, firstly, we removed that possibility, but we have a historic one. So as part of governance, we wanted to create a formula to match the two things together and see if they differ. And usually that would be a case of having to go through and write out all of the different if scenarios and using like explicitly listing out each of those options in terms of the sites and the different businesses and regions we have. But I asked the AI, can you compare the select lists available in these two columns and create a command to report match or not match? And it did it, I think, after 2 concurrent prompts, exactly as I needed it to do, which I think took me 5-10 minutes in total, whereas to write the formula out myself would have been, half an hour, maybe a bit more work in troubleshooting and ordering that in the right order.
Awesome. So basically, you wanted to compare the data sets between 2 different select lists.
Yeah.
And then it auto compared that for you instead of you doing like you doing it as if statements.
Yeah, exactly right. It was, the thing was that we didn't have every there was, there's a select list for every business in our group, and then another select list for every region with every new business. So there's a lot of variables in it. And we wanted it to basically match every site that a hub could be allocated to against every possible variable from those 2 select lists combined. Which, yeah, as you can understand, was a really complex formula.
Awesome. So an example of formulas. Amazing. Eduardo?
Hi, Mo. Hi, team. So I've been using a lot. I just actually play around with Ali yesterday, saying that he's kind of replaced for a few of his tasks to support this So yeah, it was quite easy to create things that even basic thing was just easier to do, like coloring, simple formulas, connection between tables. I think one of the things that I found using Copilot, you kind of get used to some things. So we're kind of comparing different tools. So I realized that there's a quite limited number of tasks the AI can do. Like can do like 2 steps per time, and I just noticed that sometimes it take a while for us to complete something you want to do, like coloring. Just one thing I noticed, but it's been working okay. And I think the other thing that I feel like is a challenge is because you have formula or things already set up on the view or table, sometimes it actually replace what you had before. So I'm not sure if the prompt needs to be better to actually give continuity to what you've been doing so far on the table. It's good to start a new one, but something is already built. I feel that potentially can uh, override something is already there. So I'm not sure it's just maybe my user experience that was not the best, but just wonder if this is something that someone else experienced.
Yeah. When you say tasks you had to do, can you give me examples of those, like what you were thinking of doing? So you said
Yeah, so
coloring.
like if you want to have like a coloring scheme for 10 items that would have different colors, they actually add 2 colors per time. For some reason, was asking like, okay, I can do 2 times, and then I can add again 2 times, and I can add it 2 times. So it was okay, but it's almost like you expect that they just give the 10 colors in the same time. Just was my example, at least why I face it, but again,
Okay,
could be just
awesome.
my case.
And effectively, like that took that it was doing that each like step by step.
Yes, yes. It's
Okay.
not a big problem, but you just notice fun, interesting. And the
Yeah.
other one is overwrite was quite
I
frustrating. Like you have something set up already and you ask and actually remove the old thing and add a new one, even so it's not related to the same column. But like you said, probably the system is learning with my feedback as well,
awesome.
if it makes sense.
And are there any other examples of like tasks you tried to use it for?
Well, charts is quite easy to create, like coloring, simple formulas like what one I done yesterday. I think was just capture data from integrations, like we have data from ACC, you just want to create a column instead of going to the column, creating a form. Just the step of creating a column, adding a formula, and come with the data is just much easier to do using the AI than actually doing all the steps. Even so, the formula AI was good enough before. You also need to go inside the column, but using the AI assistant is just you can get things straight away. There's not much detailed example, but I just started using this week and it saves a lot of time, definitely.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
Fernando?
Yeah, similar comment as Leonardo, as Eduardo. Column creations. I had to create like a 20, 30 columns table and color them, all of them in a particular color. And it was a very repetitive task. And the artificial intelligence didn't allow me to create. It shows me, or it tried to help me on how to do it, but didn't do it um, as I wanted to. It helped me with formulas. It was really helpful, but not with the creation of columns or editing the header color.
Okay. So it
Most sorry, just to add to that, because I was trying something similar. It's in here from Stantec. We had an issue with creating the columns, and it was most of the time how much detail we add to the prompt. So when I was setting up a program, I asked to add a column with a date. So the column name would be a date of every Monday in 2027. It wanted to add 52 columns. It said there is an error that 50 columns is a limitation, so we can do it in 2 batches. So it adds 26 column and then add another 26. When I now try to do similar to color code them based on a month, it didn't let me to color code the headers. It would let me to color code the data in, and then eventually it would be start doing it and then crash after a while. But if I try to do everything at once, if there is something what the AI agent cannot do, it doesn't do anything. So then what ended up being easier was to basically subdivide it into small tasks and go task by task to get it done.
Okay. Awesome. So basically, like both of your comments are like like one of the things you've been using it for is the creation of columns, but in many ways it goes and like it's manually creating column by column. And then when it comes to doing things like updating the colors of the column itself, like the column header, it's not necessarily doing that. It's more updating the rows itself with conditional formatting, like with a color rule. Awesome. And Jan, what were you trying to use it for?
So when we have the hub set up for resourcing, one of the pain I have to go through every year is around October time I have to add next year.
Yeah.
And then because until now it was manual, I would list out all the Mondays to rename the columns. Now with the AI agent, it did what I needed. It add all the columns and keep the format and everything, which was great. It just didn't let me to do anything with the headers. It was able to do manipulate the data or let's say the cells, but didn't do anything with the headers. Sales first, which worked. The other one we are trying, and unfortunately, I think that would be big one, but doesn't work yet. Is when I ask to summarize data on a view or on a table, it works great. But if I have it on a document level, it look at what's on the document in terms of the text, but doesn't look into the tables or views which are based onto the document.
Okay. Awesome. So mainly with in your case, a lot of it was resource, like a lot of it is in relation to resource planning and tracking, and like the setup of the columns with the dates, basically the periods. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Fernando, do you mind if I ask what you were trying to use it for?
Yeah, creation of columns creation.
Which kinds of columns? Like, was it just generally speaking any table that you're creating?
Yeah, I was creating a form, and I asked, can you create a column with this name or with this title?
Okay.
Saying no, and I had to, and the column and the form or the table was like a 30 columns, and I had to create them all, and a very repetitive process. And I thought the artificial intelligence should be able to do that, as you ask for feedback.
Okay, awesome. And it was a new type of form that you're building, not something that you already have in like a template or something.
No. Brand new form, brand new column.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Thanks for that. Miro, I think you had your hands up, but you went down.
I did, yes, but I think we've been having similar issues as Eduardo, especially around kind of the AI chat working for the first couple of prompts. Just a bit of context, I was looking to do some formulas as well. So yeah, it didn't work it worked first couple of times, and then it just kind of went into its own mode and started doing all sorts of magical answers. The other one, it weren't giving the correct formulas, or the formulas weren't working as they were supposed to. So we just went back into manual. I did ping Jad a message, and Jad kind of just jumped on to provide some support. The other one was just it kind of timing out.
Jad is still beating the AI.
Jad is still AI. Yep. The other one was just it timing out and taking too long. I did try it out when you first released it, so maybe it's gone a bit better. We did kind of give the feedback via the thumbs up, thumbs down as well, so hopefully that will start churning the AI and getting it working. So yes, we'll see how it goes. in the next couple of months as well. Hopefully it'll start getting better.
Yeah, and it was from like it was in relation to formula creation.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if you check it out because like it's one of the areas that's meant to have like improved. So it would be interesting to see if you
Yeah,
check
good
it
stuff.
out. What if like over the last few weeks, effectively, that
Good stuff.
how that has come along.
The other one I just wanted to add, it'd be good to get a list of kind of formulas that Morta works with. So there was a formula, I can't remember, it might have been lists or something. I could do it in Excel, but the Morta formulas didn't have that particular command set up. So it'd be good if Morta could, I don't know, host it somewhere, but a list of prompts that's already built in Morta.
A list of the formulas or a
Yeah,
list of the formulas
prompts.
or the prompts?
Yeah, so you get stuff like some list, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever other ones there were. I think there's some that Excel does, but Morta doesn't do. So it'd be good to get that list.
A comparison in what formulas Excel does
Yeah.
versus what formulas Morta does.
Yep.
Okay. We'll check whether like we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Amazing, thanks.
I agree on Miro. That will be massively helpful.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think that's why maybe the AI wasn't working. So maybe I was asking it for a formula that exists, sorry, a command formula that exists in Excel but doesn't exist in Morta. So yeah, that'd be good, Mark.
Okay, awesome, thanks. Eduardo?
Yeah, maybe it helps if we give a bit of context what I think was useful for the Morta AI. Can I share my screen here?
Yeah.
I was looking if I can took off the confidential data, so it looks good. Yeah, I think this is also a new feature. You're not sure if you mentioned about the tree group view.
I forgot it and I was about to actually.
Yeah. No worries. So actually, this data is coming from ACC. So what is happening here? So we have requirements for roles to be assigned on ACC. So we take the data from ACC here, check if matches, and if it doesn't match, come with a no. So we definitely need to go back to the system and add those people if there's any reason they are not there yet. So this is all made by AI. So this comparison here with the no to see if the roles are the same and just give a list of those. Yeah, this is quite easy to make, to be honest, but it's quite simple table and view, but was maybe 5 minutes. Yeah.
So the AI helped you in relation to the selection of a formula in the rows column or in the creation of the table itself.
Yeah, create the coloring scheme for the no and yes. Okay, if I split a little bit more, remove for benefit. So it was like that. So I just group by.
Nice.
We have a group of reviewers and others that is not necessarily mandatory. So I create this column here with colors and do the comparison as well, just no and yes if it fulfill the requirements. So that's definitely good to use in the future. But yeah, that was the idea.
Oh, awesome. I actually think like over time, like that's like these types of like customizations or configurations and then the layouts is where one of the areas where it will get like really powerful. But yeah, this is really good to see. Also, you covered something I had forgotten, which is actually one of the most important ones. So I'm just going to share a screen. Thanks a lot for sharing that.
Welcome.
So one of the challenges, like one of the feedback we used to get around group buys is that it takes up a lot of space because then you have like all of these extra columns that you then need to scroll over. So now we've added this concept of like tree view. For now, we've done that. Like I think over time, you'll all want tree view, but we wanted to just test out whether you like that or not, and that this will basically become the default. But you can see this takes a lot less screen space effectively. And it was one of those like feedback items that we got a lot, especially in planning cases and in anything where there are like breakdown structures. We think this will come really in handy, and that it just makes everything a lot more compact and a lot neater. Awesome. Does anyone else have any use cases or examples of how they try to use the AI, like what applications they focused on, and how that has been? Nope. Okay. Awesome. Then I think that's it, to be honest, for today. We like the
Actually,
idea.
yes.
Yeah,
Hi.
go for it.
Yeah, well, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all right.
Hi. Actually, we have one that we've been looking for quite a lot. It is to help people fill out the forms based on the values that are within the select or multiple select. Like getting to a point where people for example, our biggest use case is to create a container doc number for a document within the MIDP. So they have various options of things they need to fill out. Getting to the point where the user could describe what they want, and the AI would give them the closest options of values within the parameters they should fill.
Can you give me an example?
Yep. So for example, how can I do that without showing you our MIDP? For example, I have classical MIDP when I
use
want
my
to create
template.
Yeah.
I can use our template. 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah. For example, you get to that point where you know what people need to fill out. They need to define the title for the document. They need to define the project, the originator, the functional breakdown, spatial breakdown, the form. All of these have a specific list of values. Ideally, people would use the AI and say, I am working for Morta headquarters as a consultant, and I need to create a report for the building in the second floor that I want to call tests dot something. And the AI would tell, okay, so this information goes here, this information goes here. Inside of project, you should select the value MHQ instead of originator. You should select ACC inside of functional breakdown. I'm not sure, were you saying building or drainage? And here are the closest values possible. See what I mean?
Yeah. Are you thinking of it as on I'm adding an individual document level?
Yeah.
Or is it that I'm starting a project? Actually, in your case, it would definitely be in like adding.
Yeah,
like
it would
adding new
be.
documents.
Yes, the document has been created. The table has been created. We already know the value. It's for the very end user that doesn't necessarily understand all the values that are inside. But when Morta knows that he already is within that group of TIDP, and you already have inside the table, whenever you're talking report, these are the two formats that we're in, or something like that. And
Okay.
this way it will help them filter down what they need and make it way more user friendly.
Okay. And you wouldn't be thinking about the prompt isn't at the point of entry. It's generally speaking, as they're inputting things, it should help.
Yeah, and it could be back and forth quite a lot. It could be, I want to create a document that is, and they describe whatever they want, but the AI reply, okay, to create a document, you need to define the project, the originator, the functional breakdown, spatial breakdown, and back and forth, the values are getting narrow, like the possibilities are getting narrower and narrower until you get one value for each.
So, just to check I'm understanding this correctly, are you basically saying that the equivalent of in chat should ask for the input on a row level for the different things that need to be entered?
Yes.
But why is that better than a form or filling it in the table?
It would help them define what they should fill in. So let's say the people write in, I am from Access Consultant, and it will tell them, okay, in Originator, you should select ACC.
Okay. I see. But let's say it actually selects for them. What I'm trying to say is that should the interface be, you're not saying, it could just select the right originator for them. I understand that, but I'm trying to dig into the chat. Does it need to be via chat, or is it the actual suggestions on what should be selected that's important?
That's the thing is, it doesn't need to select it. It's more of the value of the chat is for them to, with a natural language, say what they want, and for the AI to tell them to translate what it means inside of the table. So they know that they usually use a command. He knows that he needs to write minutes of meeting regarding a specific subject. The AI can say, okay, your document is composed of a project, an originator, a functional breakdown, a spatial breakdown. The only information you gave me so far is that it's a minute of meeting and who you are. But I need all of these other information, and people will then gradually learn how to fill out the table.
Okay. So basically guiding people into filling in the table.
Yes.
So they are filling in the table, but it's guiding them into filling in the table.
Yes.
Okay. Now I get it. Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.
Cassia?
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'm just have a quick question about the Asta connection.
Yeah, go for it.
Will we be able to link our proposed issue dates of drones from our information release schedule into the Gantt chart, so we will know where our drone sits in some stages? Is that something we could do?
So in terms the link in Asta right now is mainly around importing the data of the program from Asta into Morta. And then if you want to use Gantt views in Morta, yeah, you can use Gantt views and you can you can do that. But mainly it's for you to, the integration itself is to pull in data from Asta into Morta.
Okay, so I can combine our tracker from Morta to combine with
Yeah,
Asta.
so you can combine it with the IDP, the information release schedule, or the IDP. You can link them back to activities in Asta. So I'll show you an example of what I mean by that. So here I have a list of deliverables.
Okay.
For each of these deliverables, I can link that to an activity or a task that's in Asta, and then I can use that to derive the finish date, when it's actually required.
Oh, right, okay.
And then if you wanted to bring these and put them on a Gantt view, you can.
Okay, no worries. That's okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Any other thoughts from anyone? Okay, awesome. Thanks everyone for joining and hope you find these sessions useful. If you have any feedback on how we can make the sessions themselves as well more useful, that would be great. Like the idea is for this to be a place where we can like discuss effectively things that we're working on or like areas in the product, generally speaking. And yeah, any feedback on the format and how we can make this more helpful and more useful would be good. One of the things we're considering is whether to do mini like stories, someone talk through something that they're doing on the platform within 20 minutes effectively. And we start it by a 10-minute update, then do that, and then go from there. So any feedback on this would be great. But yeah, thanks for joining in and really, really good to see you all today. And if you have anything, just get in touch. Thanks, everyone.